Hello again, YouTube. This is The Truth Man giving you the truth. The channel is the no matrix, no adopting foolish ideals. No simping. All subjects channel. And we continuing along these same lines, how women think they can disrespect a man because of what he doesn't have. But this one is going to take a slightly different angle, if you will. I'm going to entitle this one, Monogamy and Money, Why Blacks Don't Get Along in Relationships, etc. And I want to react to, it's weird how great minds think alike. It's weird how everybody talking about this, and I swear to you, I didn't get this from anything other than a video that I was watching where they were making it seem like it's okay. Well, most of them were, but one particular guy was going against the grain a little bit. They were trying to make it like it's okay for a woman to disrespect a man because he has money. I'm finna show you some reasons why. Number one, a lot of these dudes belong to these secret groups. So we don't even count their success. If you being networked because of your affiliations, that's not true success. That's almost like cheating. So we don't want to hear, at least I don't. I'll listen, but if I were to know who these people were, I wouldn't listen to them, especially when they brag. If you in them groups, come on, man. So we're going to react to somewhat, and we're going to skip through it. What Dr.Umar Johnson was saying about reasons why black love just doesn't work. Okay, so watch this. Just listen.
It's going to be a conversation I want to have with you regarding why black men and black women do not get along. Obviously, this is a very big topic in our community and around the world, as we make a fool of ourselves broadcasting our internal relationship and community conflict issues with the entire universe.
Well, in that particular, I disagree with that because everybody's doing it. It's white guys in this space. It's Asians in this space. It's Latinos in this space. We all are pretty much sharing our experiences. But when you listen to what he had to say on this particular video that he made, it was very good, and very true. A lot of it. So we're going to keep listening.
Every YouTube page, every major social network conversation. And
then I'm going to give my 5 main reasons.
Dedicating some of its content and conversation to this topic of male-female relationships. So I want to talk about why don't black men...
He made this video 2 weeks ago.
This is just part 1. There will be others, but I want to go ahead and dive into it. Number one, and these are not in any particular order, but number 1, we are disagreeable to a fault. Black people do not like to honor other black people. We do not like to respect.
And this is, oh my goodness. He couldn't have a better number 1. When you dealing with people sometimes, you got to take factors in that you wouldn't even have to take in, like where they went to school, who they admire right now. Because I'm telling you, this kind of stuff, people won't admit it, but it will mess up your relationship. If you with a woman who is more attracted to white men, who respects more white men, who can't acknowledge that white men do the same things as black men, that's like a little hidden dot of poison, if you will. That's like fentanyl. It's a dangerous chemical, but it gets more dangerous the closer you get to it. So that little thing, it seems so minute, can create problems between, say, a black man and a black woman in relationship.
Other black people. We do not like to show compassion to other black people because we were conditioned, engineered, all right, and brainwashed into believing that if it ain't white, it ain't right. So why do I...
That's true a lot too. Like if you listen, there's a couple content creators that I still watch, but I can't watch them like I used to, because it's like when I see you bashing blacks but then breaking bread with whites, not saying that you can't, I start to wonder about your motives. Like me, y'all know how I get down. I get on everybody. I'm the truth, man. Like, I don't just single out blacks. You might hear me talking about it sometimes. But, like, I got into this conversation where we were talking about the dude was calling himself a nigga. And so I was like, well, I said, that term means ignorance. You don't want to brand yourself with it. I said, the only time I use it is when I'm describing the bad things that people do. And like, I used to be the type where one day I was in Texas and that was the first time I saw a black person like call. He said, look at all these ninjas in here. It was all white people. I didn't understand back then, but now I understand that term can be used for any ignorant person. And so that's how I use it when I'm describing somebody's ignorance. So let's get back to what he was saying on this particular.
So why do I have to respect black people when white people have told me I don't have to? Most of us are internalized Europeans, and we have been
Now that I agree with. He said most of us are internalized Europeans, and that he's right. That's one of the problems. It's not necessarily, well, it's kind of number 2 on my list. But like, we do everything like everybody else. Like even how they get so mad at the Passport Brothers and how they try to push monogamy, which is the premise of what I'm going to get into in a second after we hear a little bit more of his video and what he had to say about it.
Internalized Europeans for at least 400 years. And I would argue that the internalization of European consciousness within the African mind has only intensified over the past 157 years since the passage of the 13th Amendment. So we are more European now than we were during the Civil War. So the biggest reason black men and women can't get along is because we don't want to get along. Let me say that again.
Now, he said the biggest reason why black people can't get along, because we don't want to get along. That's true as well. Now, but before I comment on that, I want you to hear a little bit more of this part.
The biggest reason why black men and women don't get along is because we don't want to get along. Black people, period, don't believe that we are obligated to show respect to other Africans. Now, we often try to separate the black male-female relationship crisis from the general black community crisis. You cannot take black male-female relationships into a vacuum away from the larger condition and circumstance in which they take place. Black churches are dysfunctional inside and between each other.
And listen, people, I don't know why they do this, but like, people still to this day try to ask me what church I go to. Have you not heard my sermons? Have you not heard, do you not realize the level of understanding I have? It's almost like getting a person who's went all the way through school, got their PhD, and now you want him to go back to kindergarten and do it again? That's what it's like. The black church is dysfunctional. I've been a member at 3 of them. The cliquiness, the misuse of funds, the double standards, the hypocrisy. Let's just keep listening.
They are poorly organized. They are only organized on the superficial level, and they're definitely not organized to bring any meaningful change to.
And people take all of their money and give it to these churches when they could be giving it to people like me who are out here that will really impact the community. You wonder why these pastors still walking around alive? Because the people who don't want them to have the influence know that they're not having the impact that will make them, in their fraudulent ways, want to kill them.
Black America. You look at black men disorganized, black women disorganized, ex-offenders disorganized. And let us be clear, the root cause of our disorganization is our contempt for one another. You can't
Think about it. He said the root cause is our contempt for one another. How many black guys are in prison right now for killing other blacks? And how many of them were in position where they ain't had no choice? Going back to something he previously said, black people don't want to get along. So that when a person don't want to get along with you, and when a person's mind is programmed not to respect you, why try to be friends with them? Why try to be close to them? See, this is why we keep hearing about stuff like Shanquella Robinson, stuff like, what's her name, Kanisha Washington, stuff like about politics. If I knew you for 30 years, how in the hell can politics come between us? All this stuff that Umar is talking about, that's how. That's how.
Organize with somebody you think you're better than. You can't organize with.
And I've had this issue as well. Like, people will try to make you believe that when you get into it with others, it's always you. There are people out there, including myself, that if we look with an honest lens at the conflicts that I done had, very few, if any, were because of me. It was always these things he's talking about. People don't want to respect me. People don't know how to disagree and still work together. Like, I've had to end friendships because people just, they be wanting to think they better than you. This is not a competition. And this is one of the ways you know. This is one way you know a black person is competing with another black. Look at the level of help that they present to others, less fortunate or at a lower level than themselves. And that will show you whether or not they're competing. There are black people out there that one of their main reasons why they want to be successful is because they want to be viewed differently by whites and by others than other blacks. And that's a poor reason. That's a piss poor reason for you to try to be successful. And look into yourself. If this is you, you need to re-examine yourself. A lot of people need to stop talking and evaluate.
With someone whose life and opinions you don't value, because what would be the point?
Right. And this is one of the reasons why black people together have the highest divorce rate. The highest divorce rate. Because people think, especially when they have kids, they think that you're obligated to be with them, regardless of their level of respect, regardless of how they treat you. Like I could come in your house. And if your wife has been there all day, I'ma know right away, if me and you come in there together, what level of respect she have for you. Because when a woman respects her husband, she's gonna keep the house clean. She's going to make sure he's eating right. She going to make sure whatever help he need, she's going to get. But see, these women, they can't see when they not respecting their husband, when they not respecting their boyfriend. They think it's all because you're a man, everything that goes wrong is your fault. And everything that goes wrong, you alone is supposed to handle it. That's not how it, no, that's just not how it is. And so what I tell y'all all the time is to get rid of these type of people. You got friends that you could be right, but because they think they better than you or got more than you, they'll argue with you. You'll be annihilating them in the argument, but they'll be still trying to argue with you because they think they have more than you. They might think they smarter than you. They might think they better than you. That's not a friend. Get rid of that person. Get rid of them. You don't need that person in your life. They're not going to help you. Not going to help you. Not going to benefit you. And same thing with relationships. This is why, okay, for instance, I go places like in my businesses. And a lot of black women, they just be mean to me for no reason. Not all of them. Some of them display admiration. But a lot of them, they just be acting mean for no reason. Like, black people think that they can be mean to each other, and because we're both black, we should still deal with each other. But this is creating dysfunction in families and churches, in relationships, that level of disrespect. And then, like he said, we are being taught by watching the Europeans in their flaws. They're not all flawed, but in their flaws.
Black men and black women come together out of necessity.
And that's another thing. Like, a lot of black women take Cynthia G, for example. We all know how she feels about black men, but then she went and had a baby with him. Like they say, black people come together out of necessity. She probably wanted a white guy, but she wanted kids more than she wanted a white guy. So, first dude, squish. She let him through, bareback. Hold on.
More so than honor and obligation.
We're going to wrap this up in like 5 minutes or so. I'm going to get to my list.
Black women come together more out of necessity.
More out of necessity. Hold on, let's go through some more of what he was saying.
No difference in life because they all come from God and they have equal value.
Okay, now this is important. I want you to hear this part. Hold on.
So you have to than honor and obligation. I want to say that again. Black men and black women you think is less than you. You can organize with someone whose life and opinions you don't value.
Exactly.
What would be the point? So you have to understand, black men and black women come together out of necessity, more so than honor and obligation. I want to say that again. Black men and black women come together more out of necessity for the relationship as opposed to honor
and Cynthia G is a good example of this.
In other words, we want to have sex, we want to have kids, we want somebody to go to sleep with, we want somebody to spend time with. We have a need for the opposite sex. You understand me? We have a need. We have emotion. We want somebody. So number one, we are disagreeable because we want to be. We don't like other black people, but we need other black people. You can liken a black relationship to a black business. Black businesses need black customers because white folks are not going to shop from them. Arabs.
And that's one of the reasons why we at the bottom, and that's one of the reasons why Deion Sanders is going to get fired if he don't come in there producing very quick. Because what he said, we basically deal with each other out of need. And then a lot of black people, once they don't need you no more, they go over to the white folk. So, and I've seen it. I'm telling you, man, I've seen it. I know dudes that, man, we was in high school, it was practically all blacks. The white people were practically invisible, most of them. But now some of those dudes, all they deal with is white folks now. I mean, do you? To each his own. But I know exactly what he's talking about.
Shop from them, okay? East Indians, Mexicans, they're not going to patronize the black business.
People ain't going to patronize
black
us.
Businesses need black customers, but that don't mean they like them. We go into black businesses all the time, but we can tell.
And it's this one, like, I be wanting to deliver for the black businesses, right? Like, so they, like, nothing against the whites. I don't really care as far as color, but sometimes you gotta do what other races do. But it's this one particular place, dude was just too disrespectful, man. For no reason. Like his demeanor, the way he be looking, the way he be talking. And one day he canceled one of the orders I was there to pick up and thought it was funny. I said, I'm gonna show him how funny it is. I rejected them so much that they don't really even offer them too much to me no more. I rejected their orders that much because that order that he didn't want to make and thought it was funny was a very good paying order. But let's keep moving.
They really don't care about us.
21 minutes.
They just want our money. It's the same thing with the relationship. That man you're with may not really care about you. He just wants that honey. That woman you're with may not.
And that's okay. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not. And don't think I think I'm better. But at this point, I don't think like that. Like, I don't want to touch a woman that I don't like. Like, if I don't think you cool, I wouldn't even want to touch you. That's just how I am. Other guys might not be like that. He's kind of right. Some dudes, all they want is the honey. Some women, all they want is the money. Like, me personally, I'm not dealing with any woman that just try to get with me for what she perceives that I have, or if she tries to get with me out of desperation because she can't get what she wants. These are the relationships that fail. This is one of the reasons why they fail. Because women, they'll get something or marry somebody that they never wanted in the first place because they don't have the courage to tell this man that they want to be out there and do their thing. And the sad part about it is they figured that out after kids come. After the marriage comes. And now they think it's righteous when it's really filthy evil to extort this man of his money. You wanted to divorce. You caused a divorce. Some of them won't leave, so you have to leave them. But they think they got a right to what you make in the future. That's why guys are saying do not get a marriage license. That's why I add to it. Don't do this stuff. Don't get with these women seriously in no palimony state. Because they can get you like that too. We gotta move along. It's 23.
May not really care about you. She just wants your money. You understand? So let's be clear about this. We are in relationships not to help the other person.
And any woman that respects you because of what you have, in a way that she won't respect you if you didn't have it, is not worth the time of day. You better off going in the bathroom, getting you some Vaseline or lotion, and looking at the women who give you the tickly feelies than trying to get with a woman who only respects you because you have what she could brag about. You have what'll give her what she wants. Man, and then, like I say, a lot of them are so worn down. They're so worn down. It reminded me of that movie. Remember Christine? Where the car had weird, powered, had a spirit in it. That reminded me, and Pimp C had a song where he talked about it in the 90s called They Want to F My Car. They ain't tripping on me, they want to F my car. That's these women. That was before his time, man. I mean, he used to talk about that all the time. I can't really mention, some of it's too graphic. Like he said something about Yokohama tires in one of his songs, got they bleep holes on fire. You think it was like that back then? I would venture to say that women were less like that back then. Like women will try to turn you down if they think you could get them because of what you got, more so than they will now. That's why I don't believe in always dressing up. I dress down sometimes. FD30, excuse me. Anyway,
a lot of us are in the relationship to what? Get out.
Okay, let's go back.
Skills.
Let's go to something else.
Male-female relationships, we have poor conflict resolution skills. Do you want to know why? It goes back to our disagreeableness. Number one.
Exactly, Dr. Umar. See, some people, when they think they better than you, or when they think they like a present to you, you can't negotiate. You can't tell them when they're in the wrong. You can't resolve a conflict. They're going to shut down on you. But the whole time, remember, guys, it's all your fault.
We often think that we're worth more than our partner. That's number one. Black people always think they bring more to the table than the other person. That's a big problem we have. We have a problem.
Now, in terms of the male-female dynamic, a man is supposed to be that way. If Dr. Umar believes in 50-50, then that's one thing I don't agree with him with, because the Bible doesn't even teach that. Like, and he needs to cut that out if that's what he believes. Ain't no 50-50. 50-50 is a man, like I heard somebody say. If it's 50-50, then that's a man. If we equal, then you a man. Let's get to the list. If you want to watch the video, it's Dr. Umar Reasons Black Couples Don't Get Along, Problems with Black Love. But I want to get to my list and then I'm going to close. Monogamy and money, why blacks don't get along in relationships, etc. Number one, selfishness. See, a lot of people are selfish to the point where they think that these other races really care about us or care what we do and whether or not we live and this, that, and the other. You see them working together. Like, it's never, a time never passes where I pick up at a Vietnamese, Chinese, or any of these other restaurants and not see others in their race. And in fact, when I deliver the Vietnamese food, I would say at least 70-80% of the time, it's to Hmongs and other Asians. They understand the need that they have for each other. When black dudes pulling up their pants fighting, they think they got the need to fight each other. I got ops, ain't none of your ops white. Ain't none of your ops. Stop it. Why do we exalt these people? Why do we listen to these people? Why do we let these people entertain us who think like this? All they doing is dancing for the white man who's the insecure white man. And it's not all of them. The insecure white man in power. When these dudes make these records about killing each other and they ops, make these movies, the little gangster movie, all this stuff, all they doing is pushing themselves in the dirt and causing him, you like a rocket on his back. You like a rocket on every other race's back when you be out here robbing, stealing, killing, not getting along, not buying from each other. Y'all think this stuff ain't important? It is. You think it's a reason? You think they like us? That's why they not trying to kill us? And again, every white person is not guilty of this. But those who are know what I'm talking about. And they know I'm right. Number two, European influence. European influence. Like, everybody get a lot of the things that they catchphrases and they culture from us, but then they remain within themselves. They remain within themselves. You ever notice how the main white people that you see trying to be like black people, they either And I don't mean this in the wrong way, but y'all know I'm right. Y'all know I'm right. Either they like rap music, either they grew up in lower income housing, either they're rebelling against their parents, or it's some other negative reason. Because why would you accept that which will get you locked up? Why would you accept that which will make you fail a drug test and not get the job? So it's European influence for the more upscale blacks makes them think things like a man's value is determined by how much money he has. When a lot of these dudes done made little secret agreements with the devil, you think I'm scared to say it? It's the truth. But then they'll get on here and tell you that you need to judge a man based on what he has. Monogamy, same thing. That's European influence. That's not even, Paul was a Roman. The Apostle Paul was a Roman. And even being a Roman, he never said that they couldn't practice polygyny. He said if you're a preacher for him, you gonna have too much to do. So you gotta be the husband of one wife. Number 3, brainwashed by capitalism. We need to make capitalism work for us without being brainwashed by it. We gotta make it work without being brainwashed by it. When you brainwashed by capitalism, you get to judging people. You become more so a classist. Everybody needs to be a classist to a certain point. If you accepting everything in the low life, that say a lot about you. But I'm talking about the ones who brainwashed by all this, where they can't even get along with you. They can't even be friends with you if you ain't there. That's the ones that's brainwashed by capitalism. And they'll say things like, they'll always think you're trying to mooch off of them, and in some cases you never asked them for nothing. But number 4 is dysfunctional behavior. Dysfunctional behavior. Having sex with somebody just because you want to do it, or just because of how they look, that's dysfunctional behavior. Where do you see that in the scripture? You only see the people that the Bible says were wicked and turned away from God, doing it this way. Doing it in a way where they don't have some type of commitment in place. Number 5, that idolatry, which goes in line with number 3. Number 2, all this nihilism, all these ideals, those are European ideals. Because in our ancestors, like, it's an argument whether or not we were here already or brought over here. Either way it go, we have the same ancestors. Whether they were one of the ones who sailed over here and built it up, or whether you were one of the ones that descended from a war criminal. It doesn't matter. It's still the same ancestors. But people get on here and argue at me. Oh, you disrespecting. This is what Umar was talking about. This is what, those are literally trying to kill you for disagreeing with them. Guys will be on the street killing everybody. But the police be like, don't move, put your hands up. And they, okay, daddy. Okay, Mr. White Man. Which in most cases they are. And then some of them, the black police, they trying to shoot at him. The black police, they trying to buck up on him, man. Don't touch my brother like that. You are a 2023 modern day slave. You're a homeless slave. You don't even got a plantation. You're a homeless slave. And that's why we don't get along in these relationships. That's why passport brothers going overseas, That's why you got dudes who think the answer is white women, which they'll just poke you real quick and run and hide. And poke you again in that same hole, run and hide. And then they poke you again by the time you reach. Oh my God! Here comes Mr. White Man to the rescue. Here he comes. I don't like them ninjas anyway. Them short, choppy move, you know how they move? Like, I've been in corrections with them. They move different. Like, when they grabbing on people and stuff, they slams is different. The little short, choppy moves. I'm just talking. Don't take it the wrong way. I got white subs. It's nothing against you. Nothing against you. Y'all know I address everything. And y'all know I always say that a lot of you can't look at every white person and judge them by the ones who might be doing this stuff. You got to judge people individually. I don't tell you to trust anybody blindly. Not whites, not blacks, not Latino. Don't trust anybody blindly. Brotherhood is formed. It don't have to be just black on black. Who says that? Read the book of the Revelation. It's going to be people from everywhere. It's too diverse for some of y'all. But we do need to address these things, this monogamy thing, these black, I'm telling you, man, and we just talking about black women right now. White women do this even worse sometimes. But the whole sex slave, the whole you want this man to be faithful to you, but you don't even want to do nothing with him. You really want those other guys. And a lot of women, I believe more women want variety than they say. It ain't a lot of unicorns out there. So these women want variety, but they don't want people to look down on them. Some people want their parents to look at them with pride. They don't want their parents to know that they secretly want to suck wing ding, do hand jobs on wing dings that they not married to. And they'll play the little marriage game if it's something in it for them. But they'll get tired. These type of women gonna get tired of him too. These the women that get married 2-3 times because of how they look or maybe what they have. Maybe they got a big butt, so guys gonna keep marrying them like a fool. Monogamy and money are two of the most dysfunctional things that happen amongst us who look like this. Do you know what type of energy you have to be in a successful monogamous relationship as a woman? You are dry and stuff. How? And then the same dude, and I know somebody like this, did them chicks be literally practically wanting to jump on his back when I used to work with him. But then I did a delivery for him, and it was to get a lubricant and some chocolate. I'm like, he said that's for his wife. And me and him joked around. I said, man, if you wanted some pointers, man, I could have gave you some pointers. He said, man, F you. And we both started laughing. But that's a serious thing. Them other women. And then this the bad part. Sometimes they be looking better than your wife. Because one of the particular women that he was fumbling, tumbling, looked better than his wife. I saw his wife. She can't even get aroused for him. These other people know him too. They say, well, yeah, I don't see him. Yes, they do. They know how he is. They've been working with him for years. They know how he is. She just would get aroused for somebody else. Or somebody else could be knocking the bottom out of that. But anyway, man, this is long. I apologize. Make sure y'all watch the whole video, even if you have to break it up. I took a lot of time on this one because I wanted to get into these particular things. So I might make another one later, but if not, we'll see y'all tomorrow. This is The Truth Man signing off. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.